contrast to the weather in the Northeast, December has blossomed up beauty in San Diego as the Broncos and Chargers battled for first place. They don't like to use the word must win at this stage of the year with 5 to go, but both the Broncos and Chargers coaches and players have said this is just that today. Welcome to San Diego, everyone. And San Diego welcomes their defense, old veteran quarterback for Denver, 37-year-old Steve Berline.
Brian Greasy is dressed today, Dick. He will be the second quarterback, but for the second time in a row, Steve Berline gets a start. Didn't play all that well last week against Indianapolis, but rest assured, Denver's offense is in very capable hands.
And when you talk about winning in December, you talk about stopping the run and being able to run. Against this Denver defense, San Diego has a challenge today.
Yes, they do. They're number 2 in the league overall, but number 1 in the NFL versus the run. It's because of these 3 linebackers, the fastest linebacking core in the National Football League. Who will they target today? I think that's pretty obvious. Coming into today, LaDainian Tomlinson was the number 2 rusher in the National Football League, held to only 48 yards in their first meeting this year, Dick, won by Denver.
And Tomlinson operating behind a wounded offensive line, and with more on that, let's go down to the field and Bonnie Bernstein.
You're right, Dick. The Chargers hit hard by the injury bug. Starting receiver Curtis Conway out with a shoulder injury. He'll be replaced by Rashae Caldwell, a rookie. Tim Dwight, the other starter, didn't practice all week because of sore ribs, although he will play today. As you mentioned, the offensive line, Von Parker and Damian McIntosh, both of their tackles are down, so offensive line not operating at full strength. Defensively, Chargers top cornerback Ryan McNeil is out, replaced by rookie Quentin Jammer, who's real strong, real physical, but dealing with 2 veteran receivers and Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. And Steve Berline told us he will be throwing early and often at Quentin Jammer, Dick.
All right, thank you, Bonnie. San Diego will receive the ball, and in contrast to the folks cheering for the Broncos up at Steamboat and Vail and Aspen, where they're on their skis, great snow early. Well, they're water shushing here in San Diego on a 70-degree Sunday.
That mountain footage sent to us by Vern Lundquist, the mayor of Steamboat Springs.
I bet Vern is enjoying that weather. Last time they met, of course, was in Denver, and Broncos won convincingly, 26-9. And the key to that victory, stopping Tomlinson, as they have done against most of the rushers this year. Well, LT limited to 48 yards.
Denver got off to an early lead. They were up 16-0, and Tomlinson only got the ball 1 time in the second half. So it's a Charger team that thinks if we can just hold in there, hang in there with this Denver team, don't make a mistake early, that we're good enough to play with them and win.
Ronnie Jenkins to return the opening kickoff. He took 188 yards for a touchdown against Denver last year. Not this time. He hit a wall. It was Brandon, the rookie from UNLV, who made the hit. And let's take a look at the starters for the Chargers. And LaDainian Tomlinson with the keys to victory.
Our keys to victory this week is start fast, run the football, of course with me, take care of the football, and come out with a victory.
Like all runners, get me the ball, says LT. First down at the 25, and he gets the ball and is tackled after a gain of about 2 by this Denver defense. Up front, they are led by Pro Bowler Trevor Price. Price with 8.5 sacks. And watch out for McLaughlin having a big season. Lightning quick linebackers. Al Wilson leads in tackles. And in the back 4, Kenoy Kennedy is the hitter. But Delta O'Neal with 5 interceptions, 2 for touchdowns. He's the big playmaker for Denver. On second down and 8, Rashae Caldwell starting for the injured Curtis Conway. Breeze flushed out, throws to McCrary as fullback, and he's tackled out at the 32-yard line, short of the first down by the speedy Ian Gold. It was Chester McLaughlin who forced Breeze wide to his right.
Well, Drew Brees in his second year in the NFL, but only his first year as a starter, as he was an understudy last year to Doug Flutie, who, now that the roles are reversed, is Drew's understudy. He moves well, makes good decisions, had a lot of open receivers in the first Bronco game and missed them. I'm sure that this is a game he's looked forward to for a long time.
Trying to go wide is Tomlinson. Tomlinson, and he's wrestled down for a loss as Kavika Pittman, the defensive end, cut off the corner. The veteran from McNeese State, and 3 and out on the opening series for San Diego.
And we talked about the speed of the linebacking core, but really the speed goes for everybody in a Bronco uniform defensively. Look at Kavika Pittman, an undersized defensive end at only 270 pounds. And Mike Shanahan, what's he tell us? I think size is the most overrated aspect of the NFL game. I'll take speed every time.
Darren Bennett, the Pro Bowl style under a high, beautiful kick. Delta O'Neal gambles, and it was there for the taking, but O'Neal able to scramble back and cover inside the Denver 20-yard line. Ed McCaffrey, the erudite wide receiver for the Broncos, is their spokesman as he looks at Denver's attack today.
My keys to the game are winning at the line of scrimmage. We need to protect Steve Beuerlein. We need to put pressure on Drew Brees. Once we get inside the 20-yard line, we can't settle for field goals. We can't turn the ball over. We need to score touchdowns.
And McCaffrey had a big touchdown against San Diego in the opening game of the series this year in Denver. Steve Beuerlein, 37 years young. His running back Clinton Portis was 4 years old when Beuerlein broke in as an NFL rookie in 1987 with the Raiders, and he comes out in throwing formation and has to throw this one away as Rod Smith was well covered. Donnie Edwards there for San Diego. Take a look at the Chargers defensive starters. Rayleigh Johnson leads in sacks with 5.5. Marcellus Wiley with 4. Junior Seau didn't play in the first game at Denver. His presence will be welcome. And Rodney Harrison brings fumble potential with his big hits at strong safety. Junior Seau, he inspires in so many ways, not only with his performance, but his attitude, his emotion. 2nd and 10. Quick throw, incomplete, and almost a lateral, and that was Seau. He saw something in the formation because he was right there for the interception.
Well, what he sees in the formation is Clinton Portis leaving the formation. And for the first 2 plays here, Seau has had Portis, and he flows outside. The minute he sees the ball go up in the air, Junior all over that. You can tell that that play was something the Chargers have worked on this week defensively. They were all over it.
So it's 3rd and 10 from the 19 for Beuerlein, and this crowd trying to help out. Marty Schottenheimer early in the week said, I hope we get the kind of vocal support from a sellout that we face on the road. Beuerlein down the middle, complete. And it goes to Dwayne Carswell, the big tight end, playing for the injured Shannon Sharp, but it's short of the first down. It's 4th and 4 for Denver.
Well, San Diego showing a little speed of their own defensively, giving up the short pass, but then it's everyone flow to the football, and that time 4 guys make a tackle before a first down.
Micah Noor, who started the season with Dallas, averaging 40.4 for the season. Tim Dwight, his longest this year, just 15 yards against the Rams in St. Louis.
But over his career, he has taken it to the house many times.
He fields it at the 38 with a running start and then twists down at the 42. Kelly Herndon covered the kick. So each team unable to pick up a first down. We're underway. Junior Seau, the 11-time Pro Bowler, 11 in a row. He'll try to tie Randall McDaniel's 12 consecutive with a nomination again this year. Good field position. San Diego at the 42. Brees off play action. Now the screen to Tomlinson. 50, 45, 44, and the initial first down of the game. Wilson, the tackle.
Well, Drew Brees shows a lot of maturity setting up that screen. He didn't panic. Look how deliberate he is, looking to the middle of the field and then double clutching and holding up and waiting to get it out to Tomlinson. Now the Chargers did get away with one thing. Finoti and Williams were downfield, I think, a little bit before that ball was thrown. They got a head start, and the offensive lineman turned upfield. I was expecting a flag, and it didn't come.
If only one had been down there, it might have, but since they were in tandem, it looked okay.
You might be right, Dick.
Tomlinson stuffed right at the line of scrimmage by 310-pound Lionel Dalton from Eastern Michigan, a unrestricted free agent pickup from the Baltimore Ravens this year.
Well, we look at Lionel Dalton right there, and with Chester McLaughlin, such a huge inside presence, as we've got a player hurt on the field, and the Broncos are countering that with the two biggest guards in the NFL in Finoti and Garmin, two guys that both in excess of 350.
Steven Alexander, the Chargers tight end, is the injured player, as if San Diego needs to see that. They have just been decimated by injuries in the offensive line, and with so many out of play, both tackles Parker and Ellis, who have started this year not even in uniform. They need the tight end blocking power, and that's what Alexander gives them. So he's replaced by a rookie from Oregon, Justin Peel.
And the other backup tight end is another rookie, Josh Norman. So it is right now, I'd say we used to say you're getting down to the nubbins here, and that's exactly what's happening to San Diego.
In fact, they have only 3 wide receivers. Eric Parker, a free agent, Tim Dwight, and Rashae Caldwell, a rookie. The toss is well thrown to Caldwell. Good move, and he's inside the 40. Tackled at the 38 by John Mobley. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 4.
Curtis Conway's been bothered by a bad shoulder. They're not quite sure exactly what it's been called, a stinger. It's got weakness in that shoulder. He didn't play much last week. He didn't have a single catch. And you see how he's been able to produce over the years. Over 7,000 receiving yards. But Curtis Conway, when he's not in there, they had good balance with Conway on one side, Dwight on the other. They're missing some of that today with a rookie in the line.
They had 54 catches to lead San Diego, 5 touchdowns. The quick throw by Breeze is dropped. Josh Norman, the rookie tight end from Oklahoma, had it right in his belly and could not tuck it away as Kennedy came over to cover.
Might he have turned his head upfield to start running before he looks the ball all the way in? Yep, he wasn't looking at the football. Here it comes. Well, it did at that angle. It looked like he saw it coming in and didn't turn his head away.
But he let it get to his body and not just his hands. Delta O'Neal waves for the fair catch, lets it go, and it skips into the end zone as the Chargers unable to down it inside the 5-yard line. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
Very smart play by Delta O'Neal. His signaling for the fair catch made everyone from San Diego pull up, as this is going to, I'm not sure what, I would assume that Denver will go ahead and decline this penalty and take the ball at the 20.
Ineligible man downfield. They don't want to give Bennett another chance.
No, they don't.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield. Kicking team number 56. This penalty is declined. Touchback. First down.
So we played nearly 5 minutes here at Qualcomm Stadium. No score. The Broncos and the Chargers. Beautiful look out to the west. Coronado Island here in San Diego. No score with 10 minutes to go. Marty Schottenheimer has never coached in Denver, but he has worked there. He sold real estate for 3 years after his playing career in the NFL. It's Clinton Portis, the talented rookie from Miami of Florida, who leads all rookie runners by a bunch. 836 yards coming in and averaging nearly 5 yards a carry and 7 touchdowns. How productive he has been. He lasted until the 51st pick. But
fell right into Denver's hands. Remember what he said about the first game when he found out Junior Seau wasn't going to play? He went, oh boy. He said, at least now I've had enough time to get ready to play against this guy.
Empty backfield for Berline on 2nd and long. Fires it down the middle and complete out the 44 to Rod Smith, who leads the Broncos in catches, coming in with 68, on pace for another 100 reception season.
Well, you mentioned the empty backfield, Dick. This was a formation that gave San Diego all sorts of trouble working against the Chargers zone. Rodney Harrison, the safety, he's got the deep middle of the field, and Rod Smith able to run that curl in front of him before Harrison able to make a play on the ball. When you've got a veteran receiver and a veteran quarterback, they know where the hollow spots are in that zone.
23 yards on the play. Berline under pressure. Gets it to Smith again, and Smith out of bounds at the San Diego 42 with another first down. Alex Molden at the corner bumped him out.
Good job by Berline of getting rid of the football being tugged on from behind. Steve Berline at 220 showing a little strength in the pocket. Now right there's a situation where Alex Molden has man coverage on Rod Smith. That is impossible to ask a cornerback to run all the way across the field. Right there, see that from behind being grabbed by Marcellus Wiley. Excellent work by Berline getting rid of that ball.
13 more for Denver. It's first down at the 42, and the handoff goes inside to Mike Anderson, playing fullback after some productive seasons at tailback. And in fact, Anderson is the current leader for the AFC Pro Bowl fullback position. And he said kiddingly this week, it must be the Marine vote. He, of course, started playing football seriously as a Marine at Camp Pendleton, just to the north of San Diego.
Another one of those guys that played in his high school band.
Got mad. The coach said, I'll play you, but you only can play defense. He said, I want to run the ball. So I'll play the band then instead. He played the drums. Again, the empty backfield for Berline. 2nd and 8. Underneath, incomplete. Ed McCaffrey, his first chance. Alex Molden was there.
Alex Molden, the
McCaffrey, number 2 for the Broncos this year with 47 catches, and had a big touchdown early in the game against San Diego up at Mile High. What a great career he's had, Ed McCaffrey.
How nice to see him come back from that injury. One of the game's really likable people.
3rd and 8. Crowd rises. Portis leaving the backfield empty again. And then the quick throw underneath is to Anderson, and he's making Ruben drones, and Junior Seau was all over that play.
And as usual, we see the exuberance displayed by Junior Seau, because if Seau doesn't make this tackle, this was going to end up being a first down. Junior's just sitting back in the middle. He's playing his zone, and as he sees crossing through his zone, Ruben Drones, boy, he goes right for the ankles and drops it.
And Jason Elam out for a very long field goal, 54 yards. His longest this year is 55, but this isn't the light air of Denver. Bad snap, and the kick is up. And it is good. Oh, my. 54 from Elam, and the Broncos strike first. Welcome back. A remarkable field goal by Jason Elam of 54 yards on a bad snap, and Berline did a great job of just teeing it up for him. Didn't lose his momentum. And look at this structure as the kickoff headed to Ronnie Jenkins, who led the league last year in kickoff returns, but muffs this one and will take a knee at the 20-yard line. Jenkins, who was benched at midseason by Marty Schottenheimer, has been called back, has been playing well. Doesn't come up cleanly with that one. And welcome back to San Diego. Chargers ball at the 20.
Watch Steve Berline handle that low snap from David Binn and get the ball off the ground, get it set up straight, spin the laces away from Jason Elam, who must think that this is a home game. Kicking a 54-yarder at sea level. Wow. He must have thought he was in the rarefied air of Denver to drill one like that. Of course, Elam's going to be a free agent at the end of this season. That's a nice one to have on the old resume when you go shopping for a new team.
He's 3 for 4 this year, over 50. Breeze, another screen to Tomlinson, gets a block, and picks up about 7 on the play before Ian Gold can make the stop. I'd like to remind you to log on to NFL.com. Help pick the NFL's all-star lineup. Cast your vote for the 2003 Pro Bowl squads only at NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com. There's a couple of weeks to go. Breeze and the Chargers, 2nd and short. Alexander back in the game, lining up on the left side.
That's good news for San Diego.
Tomlinson hit in the backfield, spins away, and he's to the 29 before Al Wilson can secure the tackle. Reggie Hayward from defensive end got to him first. Third down and 1. Well, these three linebackers, they talked about them, Dan, and then all of them with 100 tackles this year. Well, that's just what you want.
It's really unusual to see. Normally, a linebacker might be your leading tackler, but then it might be your strong safety, and they're at number 2. But with Denver, their three linebackers are 1, 2, and 3. Wilson, number 1, Ian Gold, number 2, and John Mobley, number 3. That is really unusual.
They're ready to tee off here on 3rd and 1. Tomlinson off left tackle has the first down.
Well, LaDainian Tomlinson, very smart. They pulled right guard Tony Finotti, and Tomlinson waits for big number 71 to round the corner. Watch Finotti go. There he comes, number 71, right up into the hole. And Tomlin says, well, if I'm going to follow somebody, why not get behind a guy that Marty Schottenheimer said is a road grader? 6'4", 350.
And now he actually can go in and buy your friend a beverage. He turned 21 last week. He's the youngest guy in the league.
Imagine that.
Breeze into the flat to McCrary, the veteran fullback, and he's toppled by Deltha O'Neill.
What do we say there, Dick? He hasn't matured yet, I guess. So who knows?
How big is he going to be?
Whoa.
He could be the first 400-pound lineman.
Wait till he fills out.
Mike Shanahan, who's had such a tremendous record, the winningest coach in the NFL since he took over 8 seasons ago as the Denver head man, a couple of Super Bowls. His first Super Bowl win was here on this turf against the Green Bay Packers. And of course, a reminder that this is the Super Bowl season once again in San Diego in late January. They give it to Tim Dwight on the reverse, and that is unsuccessful, and they have not blown that dead. I believe that's a fumble. Al Wilson recovers for the Broncos. And that's going to be, and a flag is down across the way. A play that Marty Schottenheimer favors, the wide receiver reverse. They've used it very successfully, averaging over 9 yards a try this year.
Illegal use of the hands, hands of the face, defense number 37.
Oh, boy.
5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
How big is that?
How big is that is right. That's Tyrone Poole, number 37, locked up to the, oh, there it was, the right hand, as he threw it right into the face of Eric Parker. And the official right in front of it, and that cost Denver a turnover deep in San Diego territory. Oh boy, some mistakes are bigger than others. That's a whopper.
It's a short penalty mark off of 5 yards out to the 42-yard line, but Broncos were celebrating on a turnover inside the Charger 30-yard line. Mike Shanahan, the official who threw the flag, right there in front of him. So a lot of those linesmen that just use earplugs, they don't hear much of that. Probably a good thing. They make the reverse, or the wide receiver reverse, and Izell Reese comes up to tackle Tomlinson after a short gain.
Well, San Diego went to a lot of trouble during the practice week to set up those two plays based on each other. One, the actual reverse. The next one, the run straight up the middle with a reverse fake, and they got nothing.
These stunning views throughout the day of San Diego and Qualcomm Stadium, courtesy of the Saturn Lightship. We hope you're enjoying the game from the best seat in the house aboard the Saturn Lightship. Second down. A long 8 or a short 9. Tomlinson only 7 yards rushing. He's had more success doing this as a receiver, and he is written out quickly by Tyrone Poole, short of a first down at the 47-yard line. Poole, another free agent pickup, and a good one. Great speed. He drafted by Carolina as a first rounder back in '95.
We saw a good look at that speed right there as he dropped off his own coverage and closed about 15 yards to make that hit. This is where San Diego has no idea what they're going to get from Ray Rhodes in this Denver defense. It could be a 7-man rush. It could be a 2-man rush. Denver very adept at going both ways.
Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 6, and Breeze fires to the sideline, complete, and still on his feet is Eric Parker. He's at the 30 and down inside the 25 before Denard Walker can make the tackle. Only the 2nd catch of the season for Parker, who was picked up by the Chargers as a free agent from the Houston Texans.
And boy, watch Denard Walker, number 25, just go and think that he's going to get him by just grabbing his jersey. And Eric Parker says, no, I'm a rookie. I don't know any better. I'll just keep playing the game. What a job by Eric Parker of effort and then balance, putting a hand on the ground and refusing to go down. Now, when you're a rookie and you come into the game with 1 catch, well, that's how you catch a coach's eye.
And it's good for 30 yards for the Chargers and their deepest penetration at the Denver 24-yard line.
Well, this is some turnaround. Then San Diego turns the ball over, clear back around their 20-yard line, and because of a penalty, they get to keep the ball, and now they're down knocking on Denver's door.
Not quite in the red zone, or as Marty Schottenheimer refers to it as the gold zone. And it has been rich for San Diego inside the 20-yard line. They're the best in the league. Touchdown conversions once inside the 20.
Marty can call it whatever he wants. I think his players still call it the red zone. We're all conditioned to that.
First down at the 24. Caldwell in motion. Fake to Tomlinson. Breeze backed off across the middle and deflected. Looked to be Trevor Price. To the brilliant defensive end out of Clemson. 3 straight Pro Bowls. Might have gotten a piece of that one.
Now, Clemson well represented here on Denver's defensive line between Trevor Price and then Chester McLaughlin. Both of them Clemson guys. There they are side by side. Big Chester. When Chester decides that he's not going to be moved, he cannot be moved. At 6'4", 335.
I wasn't sure he was going to get into our room yesterday through the door.
He's a bit of a wide body, isn't he?
Breeze looking deep, throws to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Parker, leaping high and battling with Tyrone Poole, who was able to get a hand in and deny.
Kind of a busy series here for Tyrone Poole. His penalty kept this going. He came up with a big hit on Tomlinson earlier on the screen, and now trailing and able to close and get in on the play on Eric Parker. Parker was a good 3 steps past Tyrone Poole, but Poole able to again demonstrate that outstanding speed in closing and get back in on the play. That's what a cornerback has to do. He has to be able to close.
3rd and 10, shotgun again. With company is Breeze for blocking strength, but they both go into the pattern as well. Being chased, he has to hurry it away. Incomplete. It was Bertrand Berry, who has 5 sacks this season. He's spotted in 2nd and 3rd and longs out of Notre Dame, and he was right on the tail of Breeze.
And again, a defensive lineman, Dick, showing the tremendous team speed on this Denver defense as he was running down Drew Brees. Brees knew he couldn't even get away from a defensive end coming from the backside.
Steve Christie, the veteran, will try a 42-yard field goal to tie. It is no good. Hook to the left, and that has plagued Marty Schottenheimer all season, unable to hit the field goal outside 40. They might fit in the stocking. Scotty Montgomery goes for the Bronco orange. Wide receiver. And the Broncos with the ball at their 32-yard line.
If you're going to wear colored shoes, tough to beat L.C. Greenwood in the gold high tops he wore.
Those were the best. Those should be bronzed and be in Canton, Ohio. Berline play action on first down. Fires to the far sideline to McCaffrey. Is it a catch? No. Quentin Jammer, the rookie from Texas, the #1 draft pick of the Chargers, on the coverage.
Well, part of playing quarterback in this league is standing in there until the last minute. And Steve Berline, that's what he got for his efforts. Again, Marcellus Wiley coming in. Didn't hit him in the head, hit him on the shoulder pads. And now the officials are getting together, and you can see for yourself. They're telling Tony Corretti it's a catch.
Complete as the receiver came down with 2 toes inbounds. First out.
And McCaffrey getting both puppies in play.
Did you say 2 toes in? Were they on the same foot or on separate feet?
Well, that right foot, they say that he was dragging the right foot in the field of play, and you can bet Marty Schottenheimer is going to challenge.
I think that's a foregone conclusion. There's the red flag.
But McCaffrey and all the wide receivers around the league, such incredible sense of body placement to be able to make a catch and somehow know right where that line is.
Acknowledging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Well, we saw, first of all, how the officials work. The first official on the scene ruled it an incompletion. The official that's in the background right here, he rules it an incompletion. From that angle, it sure does look like Ed McCaffrey was dragging that foot and got them both down. Let's look at it one more time. Where's the catch? There's the catch in possession. The left is down.
Yeah, he did get that right foot.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, down that angle, it almost looked like the right foot was in the air. Look, I'd like to see it again. The dirt we see kicked up, is that coming from his left foot or his right?
Left foot is in.
But does he have the football? And the right one is down. You know, from the other angle, it looks like the right foot might be in the air. This angle here, it looks like the right might be in the air, but it's on the ground. We can see from that other angle that right there, that right toe is being dragged on the ground. I don't see any way that Tony Corrente is going to be able to see anything here to overturn this. I think that's going to stand as a legitimate catch. This is really a great look at it right here. There's the football in his hands. Left and right are both down. And does he land? And then the other thing he has to do, he has to hit the ground and hold on to the football. I think Ed McCaffrey fulfilled all 3 of the obligations of having it ruled a completed catch.
And McCaffrey, who already has 1 catch for 17 yards, has extended his Bronco record now. 64 straight games with a catch. He passed the great Lionel Taylor a couple of games ago. Taylor had caught passes in 62 in a row.
Now, if this catch stands, Dick, what we also saw was excellent work by the officiating crew. As I mentioned, the first guy there signaled no catch, but then the other guys who had a vantage point came in, they had a conference, and they ruled it a completed catch.
So going into today, 208 reviews and 73 were overturned. The average delay 3 minutes.
But understand that to overturn it, the old phrase, indisputable visual evidence, has to be on display.
It appeared to me that the evidence is all in favor of McCaffrey's right toe dragging all the way.
We have no vote, though, do we?
Not so far in a few years.
No.
We've tried.
Tony Corrente is going to make his way back out, and it's a dictatorship. The officials want to know, were we right? Were we right? How do we do? It's a nervous time for the guys who actually made the call.
After reviewing the play, there is no visual material evidence to overrule the ruling on the field. Play goes as a catch. First down. San Diego will be charged with their first timeout.
And clearly, I think you can see that Ed McCaffrey has both feet on the ground. He has possession of the football, and he hits the ground and holds on to the football.
It costs the Chargers one of those valuable timeouts, and it's Denver with a first down at the 49-yard line. McCaffrey, who supports for charity his Rocky Mountain mustard and horseradish. He says they're not big sellers. The problem is people will buy one, but they last for about 10 years. So not a lot of second sales on my products. But it goes to a great cause, so charity in Denver. A fake the end around. They give to Portis up the middle on a trap, and he's inside the 45 of San Diego, and we go back down to B square.
Well, Dickie, if you remember back to week 5, the first time these 2 teams played, Ed McCaffrey had a monster game, 113 yards and a touchdown. It was really the first time in more than a year he felt like his old productive self. Remember, week 1 last year, he went down with a season-ending leg injury, and he said during camp there was so much swelling in my leg and my ankle, I never knew if I'd get back to the way I was used to playing. Now he doesn't think twice about somebody hitting him back of the leg. He is second on Denver's all-time list for career receptions and second this year in catches as well.
And a great team player. They're going to have to hurry her down to 4 on the play clock. 2-1, they get it off. Handoff inside to Portis, and he's galloping like a Bronco. Touchdown.
Well, Bonnie mentioned that game 5 against San Diego, Ed McCaffrey had a big day. That was also the first time that Clinton Portis started for the Denver Broncos. And I think we just saw why Mike Shanahan says this guy's got to be in the lineup. He has toughness, but he has what you can't teach and can't coach, blazing straightaway speed. When Clinton Portis is into the secondary, unless someone has a decided angle, they are not going to get near him.
And that is the longest touchdown run of the season for Denver. 43 yards for the rookie from the University of Miami to open a 10-0 lead. Back at Qualcomm, only seconds left in the opening quarter. When Portis got through the line, Dan, he was all alone. What happened?
Well, everyone from San Diego is so congested at the line of scrimmage. Take a look at this right here. Look at all the charges. We've got one back here and one split out wide and another one deep. And once Clinton Portis, because of the reverse fake, look how when he comes through, there is nobody left. There's just one defender deep, and he's no match to catch Clinton Portis. That was a case where San Diego commits everyone to the line to defend the run, and because of that, if the run defense gets broken, there's nobody left to catch a guy. You know, it's kind of like, remember John Riggins in the Super Bowl?
Right.
4th and short. Once you bust through everybody being up close to the line of scrimmage, there really is no second line of defense.
So Ronnie Jenkins will return his 3rd kick of this opening quarter. And Moore's boot comes down at the 2. And Jenkins unable to even get to the 20. Good coverage again. Scotty Montgomery had those orange shoes working to get down quickly and make the tackle. A reminder tonight on 60 Minutes, how did what used to be the Lions' share of college sports end up as the Lionesses' share? And what do the men plan to do about it? Tonight on 60 Minutes, that rings of Title IX.
Well, it is wake-up time now for San Diego. They lost 9 games in a row last year to close out the season. They have lost 3 of their last 4, and they're now down 10-0 to an outstanding Denver football team. We're going to learn a lot about the Chargers here in the next 3 quarters of this football game.
Breeze from the 18 with Caldwell in motion, toss to Tomlinson. He has some daylight. One man to beat. Down the sidelines at the 50.
We might learn it before then.
20, and he's tackled from behind, but a face mask with it at the 8-yard line by Tyrone Poole, and that will be the longest run of the season for the Chargers.
You think San Diego needed that? How critical was that for the Chargers to get a big play from LaDainian Tomlinson?
58 yards was the longest prior to today. Tomlinson owns that.
Grabbing the face mask, defense. The penalty will be assessed. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
76 yards. That's a spirited 76 for San Diego. Plus the penalty. 1st and goal Chargers. Well, Tomlinson, if you've been wondering why he is a complete back and the number 2 rusher in the NFL, it's not just because with his 220 pounds he can break tackles. He's got the speed to run away from folks. And that is the end of the 1st quarter, and it has the Charger fans excited, even though the Denver Broncos have the 10-0 lead. We'll return to Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego right after this message.
Let's take a look at this long run by LaDainian Tomlinson, and you're going to see him with his speed. He's following right there as guard Kelvin Garment. But right here, watch this. Al Wilson can't get there. Kanoy Kennedy can't wrap him up. Kennedy kind of picks off Denard Walker. And then it's the speed of O'Neal that gets, Tyrone Poole rather, but clearly you can see the face mask.
1st and goal at the 3, and Tomlinson takes it in for the touchdown. And that is his 10th rushing touchdown of the season. So he's scored 10 or more in each of his first 2 years in the league.
Take a look at this good old-fashioned power football. Damian McIntosh comes to the outside. His fullback, Fred McCrary, with a good lead block. And LaDainian Tomlinson, a good demonstration of power football by the Chargers to the left side to stuff it in.
First time that's happened as the extra point by Christie makes it 10-7. LaDainian Tomlinson with the longest run this season, 76 yards, and then pays it off with a 3-yard touchdown.
I am a soldier, an army of one. Even though I am part of the strongest army in the world, I am my own force. With the latest technology, training, and support, who I am has become better than who I was.
So the sideline of the San Diego Chargers stirred, and the Broncos sobered by that long Tomlinson run of 76. And then takes it in from 3 yards out to accomplish something no one in Charger history has ever done. Scored 10 touchdowns rushing in their first 2 years in the NFL. Reuben Drones being used more and more by Mike Shanahan, and that ball was not touched, although alertly Broncos rush in to grab it, and a flag goes down. I think they'll just wave the flag off. There was no contact made as the ball fell off the tee as the Chargers approached to kick.
There is no penalty on the play as the ball simply fell off the tee. Replay the kick.
Tony Corrente with a little play-by-play.
You'd have to call that on Mother Nature.
And she gets very angry. And we don't want that to happen in San Diego.
We know what happens when you mess with Mother Nature.
Drones' 53-yard kickoff return against the Colts in the snow last week. He's a good pickup by Denver from University of Oregon. Kick skids down toward Drones at the 2. Oh my, what a tackle at the 16. Submarining low was Jesse Chapman.
Well, that's how you upend somebody, that's for sure. Drones doesn't have anywhere to go because of that kickoff. Oh, and look at Chapman get underneath. There's nothing quite like special teams to give you some great visuals on tackles and hits, people flying through the air, etc., etc. You got to be a little nuts to play special teams and to play them well. I think that's a good illustration of such.
Chapman, a rookie from Eastern Washington. Again, that gets you high marks in the coach's room. May give you a chance to play more somewhere else. Burline, quick throw underneath, complete to the tight end Carswell, wrapped up immediately at the 22. Donnie Edwards and rookie Ben Lieber from Kansas State in on the stop. Edwards, number 59 for San Diego, grew up just 20 minutes from here in south in Chula Vista. Big Charger fan of Dan Fouts, and he's come back home after his years at Kansas City, and he's had a full season. He's never been to Honolulu. Should get some votes this year.
I take it Chula Vista is not a seaside resort?
No, Donnie would be the first to tell you that.
No, Donnie was telling us a pretty tough neighborhood where he grew up.
Burline on second down, throws into the flat to Portis, and he struggles. Has what appears to be a first down. Quentin Jammer doing just that with that stop.
Well, rookie on rookie right there. Quentin Jammer getting his first start. You know, he missed the entire preseason because of contractual holdout, so it's pretty tough for a rookie to come in and contribute when you start your NFL career that far behind everybody else. But when you're an extraordinary talent like Quentin Jammer, you're going to find your way onto the football field sooner or later. The kid is going to be something special, the 5th pick overall.
He's playing because Ryan McNeil broke a forearm last week. This is Scotty Montgomery. He can't get outside as Lieber makes the tackle.
Another rookie. We've got rookies playing all over the place today.
Springing up like the green grass of Qualcomm.
Well, neither one of these teams is doing very well on the releases, and that time Lieber just stayed home. He didn't pursue at all. Marty Schottenheimer said this is a kid who's very bright, and he said something about Ben Lieber that I like. He said the game is very important to him. It's important to do well.
Isn't that a great comment?
Isn't it?
Comment on a kid. Of course, he has a mentor in Junior Seau. Lives that ride's life, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Berline on second and long, and he is smothered and swallowed for the sack as Jamal Williams, the tackle, was first to get there.
Well, that is that Steve Berline had nowhere to go with the football. Looking, and then finally tries to see if I can get anywhere back somewhere near the line of scrimmage. Good protection initially. Give a lot of credit to San Diego's secondary and linebacking corps. Superior coverage.
3rd and 20. Olandis Gary into the game. And he takes it on the draw, and he's tackled for a loss as Adrian Dingle shoots through.
Now, Dick, remember what I said before? Tomlinson's run, down 10-0. We're going to find a lot out about this Charger team as this game goes on. And you know something? They have responded. It's very clear that LaDainian's run has energized this football team. Not only did they put 7 on the board, but look at the life that's been pumped into their defense.
And now nor to punt to Tim Dwight, who stands at the San Diego 45. A left-footed kicker, high dying spiral, very short. Dwight almost went up the field and realized it'd be a tough catch. He'll take the bounce at the 43-yard line, and Marty Schottenheimer and that Charger sidelines excited about the opportunity. Well, there's a little more than that. A little push and shove. Timeout in San Diego. Looking back to the east, a couple-hour drive over to the desert, Palm Springs. Reminds us in late January, early February, the Bob Hope on CBS. Always a delightful viewing experience, especially when you're knee-deep in snow back in the East and Midwest. From the 41 after a 28-yard punt, it's Tomlinson kicking free again. 30, 20, and finally out of bounds inside the 20. Steven Alexander, the tight end, threw the block, and Izell Reese finally got him out of bounds.
Well, that's the missing ingredient from their first game at Invesco Field at Mile High. The explosiveness of LaDainian Tomlinson and making people miss. Denver is getting their shots at him. They're having guys, but they're unable to wrap him up. That time, Kenoy Kennedy, I think everybody aware of what a strong and powerful hitter he is. Not even a match that time for Tomlinson.
24 more yards for LT. He has 110 in this first half. Right back to Tomlinson, picking his way, and finally stopped at the 16-yard line after a gain of 1 by Al Wilson and Kenoy Kennedy.
Well, it was everybody running the football here today. Priest Holmes started with 1209. He's now got 1,322. Over here, Ricky Williams got 228 today. He's got 1,284 yards. And now LaDainian Tomlinson with 110. As you can see, he's got what? He's got 1,200 and what? 9. We'll make it 9. We'll make it 9. He's got 9. How's that?
the Bank of Deerdorf. They'll give you extra.
Oh, my God. I panicked.
Breeze doesn't. He throws underneath, complete to Eric Parker. And Parker getting more opportunities because Conway's on the sideline. Is tackled at the 13-yard line.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad that's over.
The SATs. National audience. And Dan Deerdorf takes the meth. In the SATs.
I haven't been that nervous in 20 years. Oh, boy. Don't put me on a game show.
Changes everything, doesn't it? When you have to hurry. 3rd down. And 5.
See, I thought he had 110 yards, not 111.
With Caldwell in motion, Breeze rolling to that side. Now throws to the end zone. The catch is made outside the end zone by Rashay Caldwell, who has only 11 catches this year, but 3 for scores, and this one will position San Diego on the doorstep.
Oh, an excellent throw by Drew Brees, and good work by Denard Walker of denying the end zone. Look at Walker with that one hand on the back of the jersey, able to keep Caldwell out of there. That's a good job by Caldwell. Oh, a little holding there by Walker. He got away with it.
It's spotted inside the 1. San Diego with 4 shots to take the lead. They've been good 15 of 17 goal to goal this year. Tomlinson twisting to the goal line.
How good was that? How good was that? Denver had tremendous penetration at the point of attack, and LaDainian Tomlinson goes into a spin before he ever even gets to the hole. Lionel Dalton was way afield, and Tomlinson with some move. Watch him go into a spin before he even gets hit. Right there, he gets away from Dalton and gets the ball across the end zone. That's class.
Extra point by Christie. Yes, the Chargers have answered the lead early by Denver from 10-0. It's now 14-10 San Diego. Second year out of TCU, LaDainian Tomlinson. It brought life to this game for the San Diego faithful. As his second touchdown, he's rushed for 112 yards in the first half against a team best in the league stopping the run. They've allowed an average of only 73 yards rushing, the Bronco defense, and Tomlinson has torn them apart here in the second quarter. Kick comes down to Ruben Drones, and Drones is hit hard as he gets to the 23-yard line. Go back to the score.
Let's go back to it where LT is the guy. Here he is right here in the I-back position. And you know what he's going to do? It's supposed to go in here, but then he does that little curly cue and spins all the way back this way. Watch this. It's going to go right guard. He sees penetration and spins backwards into the void, into the end zone.
Don't teach that, do you?
What? No, you do not teach that. I guess he's a TCU guy, a horned frog. They won their conference yesterday, Conference USA.
Going to the Liberty Bowl.
Wow. Kudos to the Horned Toads.
They're going to play the Rams at Colorado State, another fine team, although they tasted an upset yesterday in their home finale. UNLV beat them. Well, the defense of the Chargers, here's that last 3 and out.
Well, look at how they're covering on special teams. Sure tackling in open field. That time Lieber on the reverse. Good coverage and a sack. And I'll tell you what, ever since that run, we've seen some energy. They started out with some energy. They had a lull when they fell behind 10-0. But Tomlinson's 76-yard run has got an energy now and an enthusiasm flowing through this San Diego team.
Portis in motion, no one in the backfield, and the throw almost intercepted. Seau was right in the midst of it again, along with Quentin Jammer. Intended for Rod Smith. Well, the Chargers were embarrassed when they were described this year and this week as a team that has always been, you can always count on their defense being one of the leaders in the league. Well, they had fallen all the way to 27th in the league defensively, the lowest in 17 years, 1985, since San Diego has performed that poorly on defense.
And it's happened in the last month.
Third down, 8. Here comes the pressure. Burline steps up, and he's hit. Fumbles the ball. Picked up by San Diego's Dingle, and he's tackled outside the 15. And Burline may have been hurt as DeQuincy Scott, first-year defensive tackle from Southern Miss, got to him.
Well, that time Steve Burline again couldn't find anywhere to go with the football. There's a point in time where you either have to get rid of it or take off with it. Steve doesn't want to scramble with it, but look how long he has to survey the field. At that point in time, you just got to get rid of the football. Scott DeQuincy finally gets in there, but let's face it, that's after a good 6 seconds or so. That one's on the QB.
Recovered at the 17-yard line at Denver, and here comes LaDainian Tomlinson wide to the left. And runs out of room and may have lost a yard or two. Al Wilson and Kenoy Kennedy in on the tackle.
I know that Steve Burline, you don't want to be too critical, but he's trying to find somewhere to go with the football. But after a certain amount of time, you've got to expect to get hit. Those guys just don't evaporate. Sooner or later, they're going to get to you.
A loss of a yard on that last play. As you look at Berline, had some successful years in Carolina. Played for Mike Shanahan when Shanahan was the head coach of the Raiders, and Mike was the first to call him when Carolina cut him 2 years ago. Fake toss, fake screen, and now the throw to the tight end Alexander, and he's out of bounds inside the 10, and flags fly. First catch today by Alexander. Will it count? Marty wanted Alexander. He coached him last year with the Washington Redskins. Ineligible man downfield, so that'll be called back.
Well, not a surprise after the quarterback scrambles that much. The linemen are in no man's land. They don't know whether to pass protect or run block.
Ineligible player of the offense downfield prior to the pass. Number 77, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
One of the things that Drew Brees has always done well is show his mobility. You see the fake, a play designed to go back, but it's covered. So he waits, and by coming on over, he creates the opening for Alexander downfield. But unfortunately, by waiting, the timing of the screen is thrown completely off. And in that case, Damian McIntosh, left tackle, turned upfield to start his screen blocking. You know, you used to say you waited until you heard the back yell go, which means he had caught the ball. But with crowd noise and everything on a scramble play like that, that's tough to do.
Another meeting of the men in the striped shirts. Midpoint of this second quarter.
Correction on the enforcement of the penalty. An ineligible man downfield is a 5-yard penalty rather than a 10-yard foul. The ball will be moved. Remains second down.
So the spot comes back to the 23-yard line. For the best NFL coverage on the net with expert analysis and the best live scoreboards, you can go to CBSSportsline.com or on America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Hand off inside to Tomlinson, and he is met rudely by Al Wilson. 240 pounds on a 6-foot frame, a Pro Bowler a year ago.
No missed tackle there. That's a square up and a put down by Mr. Wilson.
Ball spotted at the 20, so it's 3rd and 13. Of course, this sequence started after the fumble recovery. The Gold Zone offense has produced 24 touchdowns and 34 trips. Best in the NFL for San Diego. They show blitz the Broncos. The throw is wide. Incomplete, but that's going to draw an interference call as Delta O'Neal could not quite square up and turn back against Rashay Caldwell. Man coverage, and you're out on an island. This may be a discussion. Was it catchable? It seemed to be.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Short penalty, but a big gain for San Diego to get 4 more downs.
Well, Delta O'Neal is locked up in man coverage, and you see he has his back to the play. He turns and catches a glimpse of the ball, but he kept riding Caldwell. He rode him well beyond the 5-yard area that you're allowed to make that contact. It's just a case where the throw, I think, surprised O'Neal. He wasn't expecting a ball to be coming his direction that quickly. You know, that's the way good cornerbacks play, and sometimes they get surprised with that tight coverage, and they'll get an interference call every now and then. The great cornerbacks get called for interference. It just happens. You think about the Sam Madisons of the game and guys like that. They're going to draw some flags every now and then. It's the price you pay for them being that good and their willingness to get physical and try to smother a receiver.
So it's a penalty of 7 yards, but carries the automatic first down. So from the 14, it's Brees to throw in the flat, complete to McCrary. And he powers close to the 10-yard line. Bernard Walker at the corner, and Canoa Kennedy with a tackle. The Sarge, Fred McCrary. I told you the story before. He was out of football twice. And in 1998 worked as a guard in a maximum security prison near New Orleans. And he keeps that uniform as a guard in his closet to remind him of other times. He much prefers the 44. He's a tough guy. Give it to Tomlinson, picking his way and moving the pile to the 7-yard line. Dalton and others in on the side. So that'll bring up 3rd down and about 3.
Well, here's where Cam Cameron, the coordinator for San Diego, has a lot of options. You've got play action that isn't hollow play action because of how well Tomlinson has been doing running the football. You've got the mobility of a quarterback like Drew Brees who can press the action on either corner. And you got a guy who can throw on the move in Brees. So let's see what he decides to do.
3rd and a short 4. The fake to Tomlinson. Scurrying and searching. Now he has to run out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And a flag goes down on a late hit. So Brees would have been stopped, and Chester McLaughlin couldn't resist the hit on the sidelines.
Chester's going to argue that I was in bounds when I made that hit.
And that'll carry another automatic 1st down if it's a personal foul.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. It's number 91 defense. The penalty will be assessed. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Boy, Denver defensively. Let's see where this hit happened. All right, here's where Drew runs. Wow.
It's a tough call.
I got to tell you what. I mean, Chester McLaughlin is preparing to make that tackle right at the sideline. We've seen a bunch of illustrations today where a guy gets to the sidelines and stays in bounds. I think that's a real borderline iffy call.
So 2 penalties keep the drive alive for San Diego, and Tomlinson drives into the end zone. He has the hat trick.
You know, Dick, my question about that penalty to Chester McLaughlin, just food for thought. Would that have been called if that had been Tomlinson instead of a quarterback? Or did he get called for that because trying to protect the QBs?
That's a good point. Tomlinson makes his as well.
Well, more power running to the left-hand side. LaDainian Tomlinson behind an offensive line now that is playing with a lot of confidence. Another good lead block by McCrary, and they just power it in.
Extra point by Christie. So the Berline fumble leads to another Tomlinson rushing touchdown. 3 for the number 2 rusher in the league starting today, and the Chargers enjoy the lead. Beautiful day in Southern California. Welcome back to San Diego. The Chargers' LaDainian Tomlinson capping a short drive after the fumble recovery with a 5-yard run. His 3rd touchdown matches his best effort 3 touchdowns against the Bengals a year ago. Wade Ritchie kicks a wobbler toward the sideline, and those are the kinds of kicks that get you on the waiver wire because the opposition gets the ball at the 40-yard line.
That football field is well over 50 yards wide, and Marty Schottenheimer is not understanding how you can't keep the football inside the white lines on either side. Such a punitive penalty. The ball moves all the way up to the 40-yard line.
Reminder of those wonderful overhead shots we're enjoying today are provided by the Saturn Light Ship. Our team hopes you're enjoying unique looks from high above San Diego. Steve Berline and the Broncos led early 10-0, but 3 touchdowns by Tomlinson here in the 2nd quarter have boosted the Chargers in the lead. And Berline going long, wide open. McCaffrey, what a catch! And he's down at the 11-yard line. It didn't appear that McCaffrey's arms could be long enough to reach out and snare it, but he came up with an all-star play.
Well, first of all, Steve Berline never saw the end of this because he gets whacked. Right there, look at the double move by Ed McCaffrey that he throws right there on Quentin Jammer, and that's what you knew they were going to try to do to the rookie. Give him a double move, and that's exactly what happened. Berline waited and waited, and I'm with you, Dick. I thought he overthrew Ed McCaffrey.
First down, they spot McCaffrey down at the 13, and the give is to Portis. Portis inside the 15-yard line. It was interesting when we talked to Berline, Dan, when he said, well, Quentin Jammer, you know, he's going to be a great player. But most cornerbacks, no matter what their credentials are, when they come out of college, they don't realize quite how good wide receivers in the NFL are.
He did it in a very complimentary fashion. He said they come out with so much confidence. They feel they can cover anybody, that nobody can run away from them. And he's right, because that's what got them through college. This is not college. And that was a marvelous double move put on by Ed McCaffrey.
2nd and 5. Give inside to Portis, and he slams into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown. And this is becoming one of those old AFL scoring fests.
Yeah, and Marty Schottenheimer is liable to turn around to Wade Ritchie and go, thanks a lot for kicking it out of bounds and giving them the ball at the 40-yard line. Look what they did with it in a hurry.
Yeah, it took him a minute and a half to score a touchdown. 3 plays, 60 yards. A minute and a half exactly.
A funny game, isn't it?
And it's a very enjoyable one.
Yes, it is.
Elam adds the extra point. Who's next? 3:08 left in the first half.
That's the lucky seat of the game.
A 47-yard Berline to McCaffrey pass sets up Quentin Portis for his 2nd touchdown from 5 yards, and here it is.
When you got Junior Seau in your sights, he's got bodies coming at him from all directions. That time, Reuben Drones did an excellent job of kicking Junior to the outside. Clinton Portis cuts right inside of him. And Wade Ritchie, I'm sure, is thinking, boy, how did that happen?
Well, it's not the first time this year.
No, it's not.
And coaches have patience with a lot of players, but probably the least for kickers. I mean, they're hired to do just one thing, and in fact, there are 2 place kickers on the roster. Ritchie, who's only in that uniform 4 kickoffs, as they hired Steve Christie because he was not consistent, was Ritchie as the field goal kicker a year ago.
Well, when you're only hired to do one thing and you don't do it well, don't buy any green bananas.
Norris kick comes down at the 14 to Ronnie Jenkins, who waits for a block and is able to move out to the 28-yard line. Keith Burns with the tackle. A flag is down. As we remind you tonight on CBS, there's only one thing harder than going to a funeral. That's going to a funeral with Becker. Emmy winner Ted Danson stars in a brand new Becker tonight on CBS, right after 60 minutes tonight on CBS, America's most watched network.
Oh, the one thing that is tougher is actually being the reason why people are at the funeral. That's the hardest of all.
It's a tough premise for a little comedy tonight.
That's even tougher than going with Becker.
Offside, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, replay the kick.
Well, most of the time when you have to re-kick, it's bodes well for the receiving team. Let's see if the Chargers take advantage. As remind you that not only a lot of scoring in action here, Nextel halftime report will give you all the early game action with Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report.
Boy, Dick, you live out here. I don't know how you put up with this weather. Don't you just sometimes
you just have to bite your lip and swallow hard and say, you know, it's another rotten day in San Diego. It did for December 1st. Pretty tough to beat a 70-degree sunshiny day.
You know, a lot of rain here in the San Diego area the last week. The field is holding up pretty well. We thought there might be a problem because it was pretty soggy.
Certainly has freshened it. Beautiful green. As Knorr, after the penalty, kicks from the 25. Hammers this one to Jenkins. Same spot. 13-yard line as the last one. And he struggles across the 30 to the 31-yard line. No struggle here. An easy throw down to Bonnie Burns.
Well, we see what Clinton Portis could do, but even he was wondering, with 3 running backs on Denver that had 1,000+ yards, what the heck he was doing getting drafted by Denver. In fact, he went in during the combine and said to the running backs coach, he said, what do you need with me? And Mike Shanahan said, well, when you think about it, with Terrell Davis's injuries, we didn't know if he was going to be back. Olandis Gary's in the last year of his contract. We're working on Mike Anderson to be a fullback. And Dan, you talked about that speed that Clinton Portis has, and there's no substitute for that.
9 touchdowns with his 2 today, just behind Tomlinson, the rookie from Miami. And now here's Breeze, the little screen. Tomlinson, 35-40, tackled just at the 40-yard line by Al Wilson. I liked also Portis's comment, Dan, when he said, well, what don't we see about you that we should know? What is hidden in there? And he just looked with this soft, young voice, said, confidence. and then Mike Shanahan came in and confirmed just that. That's what they liked about the kid.
And another thing that you wouldn't normally, when you hear a guy and the word associated with him is speed, the other thing you don't automatically assume is the word toughness. And yet you constantly hear Mike Shanahan say that's what we liked about him at Miami, was his toughness.
2nd and short, and Tomlinson has the first down out to the 43-yard line in the grasp of Pittman and Wilson, and that'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. So when we come back, it'll be San Diego at the Charger 43 with a first down and a 4-point lead. Back with a score 21-17, and boy, I got to give you credit. You made a 9 out of an 8 faster than anyone on national television.
I was told he had 110 yards at the time, not 111.
And you got it right. That 8 became a 9 magically.
Well, that number's been eclipsed. He now has 123. Keep in mind, 48 in the first game at Denver. The difference here today, I think it's pretty obvious. The running of LaDainian Tomlinson has been critical.
For the doubters out there who may have not seen much of Tomlinson, this is one of the premier backs in the league. He's only 23, and Clinton Portis is only 21. They're putting on a show. First down, Chargers. Breeze can't get rid of it. Now throws and incomplete, and no flag down. Trevor Price was pulling the jersey off the back of Breeze.
Well, Trevor Price had him. He just couldn't get him to the ground. And I really don't know why that's not intentional grounding. The intentional grounding is if you get rid of the football and the intent is to evade a sack, even if it's close to somebody, if you're evading. That was a fortunate
no call.
No call for the Chargers. Yes, thank you very much.
2nd and 10. You saw San Diego has 2 timeouts left, all 3 for Denver. Breeze dumps it underneath to Tomlinson, horse collared at the 48-yard line by John Mobley, one of those speedy linebackers of Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, I've never seen a horse with a collar on, and yet that's the phrase everybody uses. They don't call it a collar, do they?
No, the Percherons, you know, the big.
Do they call it a? I know what they have. Do they call it a collar? I thought it had another name.
Leather ring.
A yoke.
No, that's an oxen. Now we're talking. I know my Percherons and my workhorses.
Yeah, I live in St. Louis. I know my Clydesdales.
There's another. They don't. 3rd down and 5 for Breeze, and he fires down the middle, complete to Dwight, and little Tim Dwight, the 5'8" receiver out of Iowa, comes up with his first catch, and it's a big one. Extends the drive to the 34.
What a laser by Drew Brees. There's Tim Dwight working in the slot against Tyrone Poole. Poole's got pretty good coverage on him. In fact, very good coverage. But that is a absolutely perfect pass by Drew Brees. That was a laser right into Timmy Dwight.
Dwight, part of that trade that Michael Vick went to Atlanta, and the Chargers got Damelinson and Dwight and a couple draft picks. Don't forget next Sunday at CBS's doubleheader, and there are the early games: Buffalo, New England, Houston, Pittsburgh, Indy, Tennessee, and we're going to be back in the Big Apple as the Broncos and the Jets, and Oakland, San Diego, another outstanding game. When you think about the Chargers, and of course,
what a group.
And that looks almost like the Olympic rings. Nextel halftime report coming up with all the scores and highlights at halftime. San Diego spends its 2nd timeout. 57 seconds left in this first half. First down at the 34. LaDainian Tomlinson breaks a tackle and then pulled down, and he does not stop the clock. They say the tackle was inbounds. Kelvin Garman out there to block, and Delph O'Neill makes the play.
I think we saw Marty expressing his displeasure with the linesman there and his keeping the clock rolling.
Yep. Early in the game, LT had very little yardage rushing.
Well, the speed of Denver's defense smothered him off the bat. 6 carries, not even 10 yards, and then this one play. He breaks some tackles, and away he goes for 76 yards. And ever since then, it has been a completely different rushing attack for the San Diego Chargers. Look at that. 6 for 7, then 10 for 100 and a quarter. And, well, I guess the 3 TDs are moderately important.
And, of course, that's against the #1 rushing defense in the NFL by plenty.
Yes, they've only been giving up 73 yards a game, and I think their closest competitor in the NFL was in the upper 80s. So it was a sizable lead by Denver, which is on the verge of evaporating. Interesting thing about defensive rankings, Dick, I want to talk about after this play if nothing big happens.
All right, 2nd down and 1 at the 26. Make it 2nd and a long one. Peel, the tight end, in motion, and Breeze looking for something big. Has a man open, Alexander, and it's caught at the 9.
Well, something big happened. We'll stick with this.
Stops the clock as well with 40 seconds left in the half.
Boy, again, look at Drew Brees and his mobility. Play action, rolls to the right, and then something you see very little of in this league, goes all the way back across the field. You know, that's a John Elway type throw. You don't see somebody rolling right and then by design coming all the way back across. That takes a lot of arm strength.
4 for 5 on this drive is Breeze, and 15 for 20 in the first half. And Denver uses a timeout. San Diego has none left.
Well, we're inside 2 minutes, so the replay booth upstairs is going to review this. This is there's the one. Ooh, it looks like that right toe may have tapped the white. Let's check it out this time from Stephen Alexander's back.
That angle,
that one's not definitive. The other angle looked like it might have touched. Keep in mind the ruling on the field, though, is that it is a catch. 1. Oh, see, now this is this conclusive? Keep in mind that angle we're looking at, while it looks like it's on it, we're well to the camera as well to this side of it.
You know, it's almost an advantage to wear a white shoe because it's a tougher call. A black shoe might show.
Joe Namath knew what he was doing.
He started it all, didn't he?
This is a very tough decision right here that Tony Corrente has to make.
Well, at this point, if allowed, and that was a call on the field, it will be 1st and goal at the 9-yard line.
You always start with the ruling on the field, and this was ruled a catch. Now, I will admit, on that last look, the one angle where he's coming towards us, it does look from that angle like the right foot hit the marker. Well, there's the
see how difficult it is. You know, some of those white blades are in the field of play. Too bad there, yeah.
Al Wilson. I think he's saying you were just a smidge out of bounds.
Alexander with no rebuttal, but does have the call in his pocket at the moment.
Indisputable visual evidence. This is the one right here. It does look like the right foot. It does look like it's out of bounds. I don't think there's any doubt that it appears to be out of bounds from that look. I think Tony Corrente is going to try to figure out, is this a reliable angle looking at it from a camera that's on this side of the field?
Nevertheless, taking too long.
This angle right here, I think, is inconclusive. I don't think you can tell from that angle. It looks like it's in, but then again, keep in mind, this is a camera that's behind the play. So I think Tony Correnti is going to say no catch. I'm being overruled by everybody up here in the booth.
I think he'll call it a catch. Was that indisputable?
After reviewing the play, there is no visual material evidence to overrule the ruling on the field. Catch. First down.
I think there's. Hey, he's going, what are you reviewing? I knew that. I think it's safe to say here, whatever the call on the field was, it would have stood.
Either way, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. If it had been ruled an incompletion, I think it would have stood.
They'd have looked at it the same way.
Right.
So San Diego has it 1st and goal at the 9. They're 3 for 3 with touchdowns in the Golden Zone today. No timeouts left. 40 seconds remain in the half. Breeze looking for 6. Throws. And is it a catch at the 5-yard line to Rashay Caldwell? And another reminder, the Nextel halftime report with Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. All the scores and highlights, that's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. It is ruled incomplete, so 2nd and goal at the 9. Breeze comes to the sidelines, and Doug Flutie runs out to yell the call. And the play clock is down to 5. They'll never get it off. And now the referee Correnti calls time. San Diego has none left. And he's saying you can't run your player out like that and give the play call. But in the meantime, with this stoppage of play, it saves San Diego a delay of game.
Well, you can't have 12 men in the huddle. And Doug Flutie never made it to the huddle.
And they give the Chargers another 25 seconds on the play clock.
Well, I'm wondering if the helmet communication, if the speakers inside Drew Brees' helmet have stopped working. Mike Shanahan is basically saying, go tell it to somebody who cares.
Don't want to hear.
Clock operator, please reset the play clock to 5 seconds.
Well, this is a huge break for San Diego because they get to go up to the line of scrimmage and wait for this. Then the play clock still hasn't been set yet. There you go.
But now Brees has got everyone set, and it is not a factor. We'll get it off in 1 second. And he rolls right again. Being chased, throws it away. Trevor Price again applying the pressure. He just seems to be in on every play. Price, who went to Michigan as a linebacker for a couple years and then transferred to Clemson. He has a very talented sister as well, who is going to be a U.S. Olympian in soccer. She's All-America at UCLA, a junior.
Well, Trevor's spent the first part of his career playing defensive tackle and just moved out to the end position this year. He's a Pro Bowler at the tackle position. I asked him, I said, what's it like moving from tackle to end? He said, it's like getting out of jail.
That gets the message across pretty.
A lot of action in their defensive tackle. You're getting hit from all directions.
3rd and goal at the 9. They give to Tomlinson, and he slams it to the 4-yard line, and Ian Gold with Al Wilson make the tackle, and Marty Schottenheimer says, take your time. We got 18, 17, 16. Get out there and let's kick the field goal. Steve Christie, reliable from inside the 40, and a flag goes down.
Yeah, and I think that's Denver.
All will be assessed. Half the distance from the goal. 4th down.
That's Denver just taking their time getting lined up, and then somebody booted the ball out of there. And the ball went out the back of the end zone.
So half the distance takes it to the 2.
Well, now how?
Almost enough to tempt Schottenheimer to go for 6.
Well, they get a touchdown lead here if they make this field goal. It'll give them a 7-point lead.
And Christie hits what amounts to an extra point for 3. And with 7 seconds left in the half, the Chargers do own a 7-point lead. Oh, this kind of score that you might expect at the end of the game. 24-17. What a first half. And Mike Shanahan is really burning the ears of some of the officials.
Well, he wants to know, and I wish Tony Correnti would have explained it to us, why that San Diego was allowed to put 5 seconds back on the clock
when they in turn had done something to delay the start of the play and got the break. And Chester McLaughlin, he still might be talking about that hit personal foul out of bounds against Breeze.
Well, just think of the penalties we've seen here in the first half, Dick, against the Denver defense. Tyrone Poole called for a penalty that kept a drive alive. Delta O'Neal, a penalty that kept a scoring drive going. Chester McLaughlin and the hit that, again, another automatic first down that kept the San Diego drive going. They have they've been very gracious visitors here.
You've been there with your coach. It probably is the one thing that drives coaches the highest up the wall, our penalties.
Well, it's tough enough to win without doing it to yourself. And speaking of doing it to yourself, you'll notice that Steve Christie is kicking off now for San Diego. Wade Ritchie is visiting the Pine.
And Ritchie here because he does have 16 touchbacks. That's second to Janikowski in the league. Christie at 40 years of age doesn't have the length of leg anymore, as evidenced on that one, to the 12. Scotty Montgomery. He's out to the 29-yard line with 3 seconds left in the half.
It wasn't a 300-yard drive, but it was in the fairway.
That's right. Almost down the middle. It might just be the most stirring spectacle in all of sports. Grit, guts, and glory. Army-Navy. Saturday right here on CBS Sports. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online, keyword CBS Sportsline. Dan and I had the pleasure to call the Army-Navy game last year, and that indeed is a thrill to be in attendance. And there's a big Navy town. They'll be rooting for the midshipmen next Saturday.
It was a pleasure and an honor. I was thrilled to do it.
Well said. Last play of the first half, and Clinton Portis gets nowhere as Donnie Edwards makes the tackle and runs on to the locker room. Let's go down to Bonnie.
All right, Mike Shanahan, LaDainian Tomlinson, 3 touchdowns on your #1 run defense. Why has he been able to penetrate?
Well, he's been doing a great job, and we've stopped ourselves a couple times on some silly penalties to keep a few drives going. But in order for us to do the things we need to do in the second half, we're going to have to stop the run.
I wanted to touch on the defensive penalties, too. You seemed apparently pretty upset on the last one.
Well, what they did is they substituted with 6 seconds. It was going to be a delay of game, and Tony, instead of letting it go, he stopped to give him a chance for an extra play. Just inexperience.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, a little critique.
How do you really think, Mike? How do you really feel?
So the score at the half: San Diego 24, Denver 17. Coming up next, the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.